Have you ever noticed how easy it is to lose your cool these days? One rude comment, one traffic jam, or one missed deadline can send us spiraling into frustration. It's almost like we're living in a constant storm, emails piling up, people pushing our buttons, and the endless noise of everyday life. And in that storm, even small annoyances can feel overwhelming. But let me ask you this. What if there was a way to step outside of that storm? What if you could live with calm no matter what chaos was going on around you? That's not just wishful thinking. The truth is, there is a way. The ancient Stoic philosophers, people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, faced wars, betrayals, political upheaval, and loss. Yet their writings show a deep sense of peace, clarity, and resilience. They didn't just survive hardship, they discovered how to remain unshaken by it. And the best part, their wisdom isn't locked in dusty old books, it's practical, and it works just as powerfully in our modern world as it did 2,000 years ago. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds nice in theory, but I've got real problems, bills to pay, deadlines to hit, family conflicts to deal with. I get it. Life doesn't stop throwing challenges at us, but here's the promise. The principles of Stoicism aren't about ignoring reality or pretending everything's fine. They're about taking back control of the one thing you always have power over, your own mind, your own response. Imagine what it would feel like to walk into a stressful situation and stay calm, collected, and focused, while everyone else is losing their temper. That's what Stoicism teaches. In this video, we're going to break down those timeless lessons into simple, actionable steps. This isn't just philosophy for a classroom. It's a toolkit for real life. Whether it's dealing with that coworker who constantly tests your patience or finding peace when the world feels overwhelming, these methods can help you transform frustration into strength. So stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn isn't just information. It's a roadmap to inner freedom. And once you understand it, you'll see that nothing and no one can steal your peace without your permission. Let me share with you one of the most powerful lessons from Stoic wisdom: embrace willingness. Now, what does that really mean? It's about meeting whatever life throws your way with an open heart instead of constant resistance. And no, it doesn't mean you have to like every situation. It means you stop fighting reality and you choose to face it with strength. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." Think about that for a second. How much of our stress comes not from the situation itself, but from our refusal to accept it? Take something simple, laundry. If you approach it with resistance, it feels like a battle. Why me? Why now? But when you do the exact same chore with a little willingness, even gratitude, the burden disappears. Suddenly it's no longer a punishment, it's just part of life. Epictetus put it best. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. Now let's make this practical. Stuck in traffic. Most people rage, honk, and stew in anger. But what if you saw it differently? That gridlock becomes a chance to listen to your favorite podcast, call a loved one, or even reflect in silence. Instead of a prison, it becomes an opportunity. And it goes deeper. When your actions are connected to a larger purpose, everything feels lighter. Think about the difference between chasing small, trivial goals versus living with a clear vision. One leaves you drained, the other gives you energy, because what you do becomes voluntary. Even simple acts like helping a neighbor or mentoring a younger colleague become deeply fulfilling when you do them willingly, without expecting anything in return. Of course, life isn't just traffic and chores. Sometimes it's painful words, even insults. In those moments, willingness is choosing. Will I let this person control my emotions, or will I use this as a chance to grow? You might remind yourself, this person is acting according to their nature. I choose not to let it disturb me. And here's the key: acceptance doesn't mean you give up on change. It means you clearly see what's beyond your control so you can focus your energy on what is. The result? Less anger, less pressure, sharper focus, and a deep inner resilience that no outside force can shake. So, the next time life throws you something unwanted, pause, breathe, and ask, can I meet this with willingness? You might be surprised at how much lighter life feels when you do. One of the biggest sources of our frustration isn't really what people do, it's what we think about what they do. In other words, our judgments. Have you ever noticed that? Someone cuts you off in traffic and instantly your mind says, "What an idiot." Or maybe a coworker misses a deadline and you think, "They are so lazy." The action itself is one thing, but it's our judgment that turns it into anger, resentment, or stress. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught that dropping judgment is one of the most powerful ways to protect our peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always have the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." That's not just philosophy, that's freedom. Let's take that driving example. You see a car moving way too slowly, and your instinct is to label the driver as stupid. But pause for a moment. What if that person is a brand new driver? Or maybe they've got a sleeping baby in the backseat and they're just being cautious. Same situation, completely different interpretation. And here's the truth. It's not the slow driver making you angry, it's the story you're telling yourself about them. When we let go of judgment, three powerful things happen. First, the emotional weight we carry around gets lighter. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. Second, empathy grows. You begin to see people not as obstacles in your way, but as fellow human beings with their own struggles. And third, you regain control. Because if your emotions depend on your judgments, then choosing to drop those judgments puts you back in charge. So how do we practice this? Start with awareness. The next time you catch yourself judging, ask, is this thought necessary? Does it help me in any way? Often the answer is no. Then try shifting perspective. Instead of labeling, imagine what that person might be going through. And finally, remind yourself, different doesn't mean wrong. Just because someone acts differently than you expect doesn't mean it deserves your anger. And let's be clear, letting go of judgment doesn't mean tolerating injustice or pretending harmful actions are okay. What it does mean is refusing to hand over your emotional peace every time someone falls short of your expectations. When you stop judging, you stop letting others dictate how you feel. And that is emotional freedom. One of the biggest reasons we get angry or frustrated is simple. We expect the world to work the way we want it to. We expect people to act according to our standards, situations to unfold exactly as planned, and life to bend to our will. But deep down, we know it doesn't work like that. The Stoics asked an important question. Do we really need to control everything in order to find peace? Or does peace come when we finally let go? Think about it. How much energy do we waste trying to control the uncontrollable? Traffic jams, the weather, the economy, or even the way other people behave. We can't change those things, but what we can change, what we always have power over, is our response. Picture yourself stuck in traffic. You can't control the other drivers, you can't magically clear the road, but you can control your thoughts. You can choose to get furious, or you can use the time to listen to music, learn from a podcast, or simply breathe. Same traffic, different experience. Here's another example. Imagine a mother who constantly worries about her child's grades. No matter how much she stresses, she can't take the test for them, she can't force success. All that worry only creates more pain for herself. And yet, so many of us live this way, expecting perfect results from things we cannot possibly control. The truth is, most of our negative emotions come from those misplaced expectations. So here's the Stoic lesson. Focus only on what you can improve. When you're in a tense moment, ask yourself three simple questions. Is this within my control? Am I wasting energy on what I can't change? Does my reaction make this better or worse? Most of the time, the answer is clear. Now, letting go of control doesn't mean surrendering or giving up. It means redirecting your energy toward what truly matters, your own thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The Stoics even practiced something called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. They would imagine things going wrong ahead of time, plans getting canceled, mistakes happening at work, bad weather ruining the day. By preparing for the worst, they weren't surprised when it happened. Instead, they were ready to accept it calmly. And here's the reward. Once you stop wasting your energy on things outside your control, life feels lighter. You're no longer chained to frustration, disappointment, or anger. You discover a freedom most people never know, the freedom to live with peace, no matter what's happening around you. So the next time you feel tension rising, pause and ask, do I need to control this, or do I need to let it go? Let's be honest, one of the hardest things about life is dealing with the fact that people don't always behave the way we want them to. A coworker drops the ball on a project. A friend breaks a promise. A family member says something that stings, and almost instantly frustration rises. But here's the real question. Why do we expect perfection from the world and from others in the first place? The Stoics would say that this demand for perfection is an illusion, and illusions are the root of suffering. Life was never meant to run smoothly. People make mistakes. Circumstances fall apart. Promises get broken. That's reality. And the sooner we recognize imperfection as part of the human experience, the sooner we free ourselves from constant disappointment. Epictetus put it beautifully. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about that for a moment. You can't stop a colleague from forgetting their part of a presentation, but you can choose whether to waste time blaming them or step up and ask yourself, what can I do now to fix this situation? That shift in mindset changes everything. Marcus Aurelius took it even further. He wrote, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I shall meet interference, ingratitude, arrogance, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness, all of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. In other words, expect imperfection. When it shows up, you won't be shocked, you'll be ready. So how do we practice this in daily life? When someone breaks a promise, instead of taking it as a personal betrayal, remind yourself, they're human just like you, and maybe they're struggling with something you don't see. When you're misunderstood, instead of rushing to defend yourself, pause, stay calm, ask questions, and seek clarity. And when someone criticizes you harshly or treats you rudely, stop and ask, does this truly harm me? Or is it only my interpretation that makes me feel hurt? Here's the beauty of embracing imperfection. The world doesn't have to change in order for you to be at peace. What changes is your perception. And once you release the impossible demand for perfection, you gain something far more valuable: freedom from disappointment, sharper focus on what actually matters, and a deeper sense of empathy for others. So the next time life feels messy, remember, imperfection isn't the enemy. It's the reality we all share. And when you learn to embrace it, frustration fades and wisdom grows. Here's a hard truth many of us don't want to hear. Most of our anger and frustration don't come from what people do to us. They come from our own expectations of how we think people should behave. Think about it. Someone ignores your text and suddenly you're upset. A coworker makes a snide comment and your whole mood is ruined. It feels like they made you feel this way. But here's the real question. Why give that kind of power over your peace to someone else? The Stoics were crystal clear about this. We don't control outside events. We don't control other people's words or actions. The only thing we truly control is our own mind. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. So, how do we put this into practice? It starts with something I call the pause power. The next time you feel upset, stop and ask yourself, am I overreacting? Is this worth losing my peace over? More often than not, the answer is no. That pause alone can save you from hours of unnecessary stress. Another powerful tool is emotional journaling. At the end of each day, write down what upset you. Was it someone's comment, a look they gave you, a situation that didn't go your way? Then ask yourself, how did I react? Could I have responded differently? Over time, you'll start to see a pattern. you'll realize that most of the things that steal your peace only do so because you allow them to. Here's the breakthrough. No one can actually make you angry, sad, or frustrated without your permission. They can throw words, actions, or even insults your way, but it's your choice whether to pick them up and carry them. Imagine if you stopped letting every little thing control your emotions. How much lighter would your life feel? How much more energy would you have for the things that truly matter? Taking responsibility for your feelings doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means owning your inner world, protecting your peace, and refusing to hand over control of your emotions to anyone else. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, remember, you don't have to go. You have the power to choose calm. You have the power to protect your peace. And that, my friends, is real strength. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. The wisdom of Stoicism isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a living guide for anyone who wants to find peace in a chaotic world. And when we bring these practices into our daily lives, the change can be nothing short of life-changing. First, embrace willingness. Learn to flow with life instead of constantly resisting it. Second, stop judging so quickly, because when you let go of prejudice, you free yourself from the chains of constant frustration. Third, let go of control. Focus your energy only on what you can influence: your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Fourth, embrace imperfection. Accept that mistakes, flaws, and setbacks are part of reality, not obstacles to your happiness. Fifth, take responsibility for your feelings. Never hand over the keys to your peace by letting others dictate how you feel. Sixth, practice non-reaction. Discover the power of silence, patience, and delay when provoked. And finally, find joy in selflessness. Open your heart to kindness, compassion, and forgiveness, because that's where true freedom lies. Now, here's the most important truth. These aren't just ideas you listen to once and forget. They're practices. They're tools. And like any tool, they only transform your life when you actually use them. The next time someone cuts you off in traffic, the next time a coworker disappoints you, or the next time life feels unfair, pause. Ask yourself, am I choosing peace or am I choosing frustration? In that pause lies your freedom. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. That is the heart of Stoicism. It's not about avoiding hardship, it's about mastering yourself so that nothing outside can break your inner peace. So my challenge to you is simple. Pick one of these 7 practices and start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every small step in mastering yourself adds up to a life of resilience, freedom, and joy. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt a spark of inspiration or a reminder of your own strength, then share it. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement. Hit like, subscribe, and join our growing community of people committed to living with more wisdom, more courage, and more peace. Together, we can learn to face life not with fear or anger, but with calm, compassion, and unshakable strength. Because in the end, peace is not something you wait for, it's something you create.